Welcome all for the basic electrical and instrumentation engineering. In this session, we are going to discuss the last topic of Unit 2 AC machines, that is synchronous motor, construction, working principle, starting methods, and torque equation. So, first construction of synchronous motor. First, synchronous motor is a constant speed motor. Wherever constant speed is required, on that places we can use synchronous motor. The construction of synchronous motor is similar to an alternator. Alternator means AC generator. A same synchronous machine can be used as a synchronous motor or as an alternator. So synchronous motors are available in wide range, generally in rated between 150 kilowatt to 15 megawatt, with speeds ranging from 150 to 1800 RPM. So this diagram represents front view of synchronous motor. We need to give three-phase supply to stator and we have to give DC supply to the rotor. The synchronous motor construction basically similar to rotating field type alternator. So it consists of two parts. One is stator, another one is rotor. Here, in general, stator consisting a three-phase star or delta connected winding. In general, it is excited by a three-phase AC supply. The first one stator frame, that is the outer part of stator. It's made up of cast iron. So it protects entire inner parts of the machine. Second one, inside of our frame of stator is stator core. This stator core is made up of thin silicon laminations. It is insulated by a surface coating to minimize hysteresis and eddy current losses. So if eddy losses are minimized, then efficiency will be high. And the main purpose is to provide a path of low reluctance of the magnetic lines of force and accommodate stator winding here. The stator core has cuts. See in the diagram, some cuts are there. Cuts on the inner periphery of inner periphery to accommodate the stator windings. In these slots, stator windings are provided. The stator windings could be either three-phase winding or single-phase winding, depends upon the type of motor. And rotor, the rotor is a field winding. The construction which can be a salient pole or non-salient pole type. Practically most of the synchronous motor use salient pole type, that is projected pole type construction. As we said earlier, the field winding is excited by separate DC supply through slip rings. See here in this diagram, separate DC supply given in the rotor, that is through field winding. And the slip rings in rotor provide DC supply to rotor windings. Here slip rings are provided. So these are brushes. See the diagram. In between slip ring and these bearings, some brushes are located. So the brushes are made up of carbon and they slip over the slip rings. See here in this rotation they are slip over the slip rings. A DC supply is given to the brushes. The current flows from the brushes to the slip ring and then to exciting windings. Next one is bearing. The bearings are provided between the shaft and the outer stationary body to reduce friction. They are made up of high carbon steel. Then shaft. See this diagram. The middle portion is shaft. The shaft is made up of mild steel. Mechanical power is taken out or given to the machine through the shaft. That is depends upon whether it is a motor or generator. Here we are using a motor type. Next very important uh, thing is most frequently asked question, why the synchronous motor is not self-starting, or explain the working of synchronous motor. Both contain same answer only. See here. Consider a three-phase synchronous motor. The stator wound for two poles. The two magnetic fields produced in the synchronous motor by exciting the both windings, the stator and rotor, with the three-phase supply in stator and DC supply in rotor. When the three-phase winding is excited by a three-phase AC supply, the flux produced by the three-phase winding is always rotating type, which is already we discussed. Such a magnetic fields rotate in the space at a speed of synchronous speed. So, whenever we apply three-phase supply in stator, it produces a magnetic field in between this rotor and stator space. It runs at synchronous speed. So, this magnetic field is called a rotating magnetic field. The rotating magnetic field creates the effect similar to the physical rotation of magnets in space with a synchronous speed. Actually, it rotates in synchronous speed. It is a magnetic field, but it virtually create a poles, right? That is N and S. So stator of the synchronous motor produce one magnet which is good as rotating in space with the synchronous speed. The synchronous speed of a stator rotating magnetic field depends upon the supply frequency and the number of volts where the stator winding is wounded. So we know the formula N equal to 120 F by P that we discussed already. The formula Ns equal to 120 F P by P. Suppose if we have two poles with a 50 Hz supply, then the speed of rotating magnetic field will be 3000 rpm. This effect is similar to the physical rotation of two poles with the speed of ns in rpm. Right? Similarly, when we give field winding on the rotor excited by DC supply, it also produces two poles, assuming rotor construction to be two-pole salient type. See, as per diagram, see here, consider the stator magnetic field rotating here. Right? It virtually create the NS and SS continuously. See this diagram, NS, NS, NS. The outer part represents stator magnetic field. Similarly, whenever I give DC supply to stator, it creates pole as north and south. Right. Consider at one situation in stator north pole is there, in rotor also north pole is there. Both north poles are repel each other, same poles are repel each other. So this north pole and north pole repel, so it trying to move in anti-clockwise direction. Similarly here see in the bottom portion, in stator south pole is there, in rotor also south pole is there, it trying to repel each other, so it moves in the clockwise direction. But due to inertia of heavy inertia of rotor, it cannot move immediately, but the stator magnetic field runs very fast. Consider that next moment, instead of ns, now south pole appear here, instead of south pole here north pole appear here. So what will happen, this south pole attracts north pole, this north pole attracts south pole, so this rotor trying to move clockwise. In the previous case both poles are same, so it repels each other, so rotor trying to move anti-clockwise. Now at the fraction of second, now the stator pole is south and north, now it is attract because opposite poles are attracting each other. In the next location again here ns present, it repels, again ss it attracts, so the repel and attract work is going on frequently. Only the rotor accelerates in the same position only, it does not move. Can you understand? Right? So only it accelerates on the location itself. Just it trying to move in clockwise, it trying to move anti-clockwise. But it cannot move further due to its inertia. When we make this rotor by giving some other external uh, device, if you rotate that, if it rotates in the speed of stator, then only it can rotate, otherwise this rotor cannot rotate. So this is the reason for why stator and rotor of synchronous motor not self starting, right? I repeat once again, we applied three phase supply in the stator, we applied DC supply in the rotor. By applying three phase AC supply, magnetic field created virtually, magnetic field created completely, it looks like a virtual north and south pole. See in this diagram, here in stator north pole is there, in rotor also north pole is there, so both are repel each other, so the rotor trying to move anti-clockwise. Due to inertia, that is heavy weight of a rotor, it cannot follow the speed of magnetic field of stator. At the fraction of moment, this north pole becomes south pole. So this south pole attracts the north pole. So it trying to move in the clockwise direction. Further, in the next moment, then again here north pole coming, it trying to move anti-clockwise. So the rotation of clockwise and anti-clockwise only frequently going on. So it cannot move further. So this same illustrated in the following figure. So we have to use some other methods to make rotor synchronize with stator, that we will discuss now. So the general procedure to start a synchronous motor. First point, give a three phase AC supply to three phase winding. This will produce rotating magnetic field rotating at synchronous speed ns rpm. Now drive the rotor by some external means like diesel engine or pony motor or some other way. Make a speed very nearer or equal to synchronous speed. So the rotor speed should be nearer to stator speed. Switch on the DC supply given to the rotor, which will produce a rotor pulse. Now there are two fields. One is rotating magnetic field produced by stator and other is produced by rotor, which is physically rotated almost the same speed as the rotating magnetic field. At a particular instant, both fields get magnetic locked. See in this diagram, both are magnetically locked. So when it rotates with the speed, it may be locked. Then the external device used to rotate the rotor can be removed. Once it locked with magnetically, no need to have this external device, so we can remove it. But the motor means that is rotor, will continue to rotate at the same speed as that of rotating magnetic field due to the magnetic lock. So the essence of our discussion is to start the synchronous motor, it needs some device to rotate the rotor at a speed very near or equal to synchronous speed. That is our main aim. So what are the methods to start synchronous motor? As we discussed, synchronous motor is not self-starting, it would only accelerate in the same location. So it is necessary to rotate the rotor at a speed very near to synchronous speed. So this is possible by various methods in practice. The various methods to start synchronous motor are: one is pony motor, using second one damper winding, third one as slip ring induction motor, or fourth one using small DC machine coupled to it. First one, pony motor. See here, this is a synchronous motor. A small motor is connected with a synchronous motor to start. In this method, the rotor is brought to synchronous speed with the help of some external device like small induction motor. Such external device is called a pony motor. Once the rotor attains synchronous speed, the DC excitation to the rotor is switched on. Once synchronism is established, the pony motor is decoupled. The motor then continues to rotate as a synchronous motor. Our ultimate aim is to make the rotor to rotate with the speed of stator magnetic field. Once if we get the speed, we can disconnect this pony motor. Next one, using damper winding. See in this diagram, the windings are short circuited here. Another view is here, the damper bars are short circuited. The windings are short circuited with the help of damper bar. Here field windings are located in rotor. So using this damper winding, in addition to normal field winding, additional winding consists of a copper bars placed in the slots of pole spaces. See here, copper plates are located. The bars are short circuited with the help of N rings. So the bars are short circuited completely. Such an additional winding on the rotor is called damper winding. The winding as short circuited acts as squirrel cage rotor winding of induction motor. The diagram is given here. Once the rotor is excited by a three-phase supply, the motor starts rotating as induction motor at sub-synchronous speed. The DC supply given to the field winding. At a particular instant, motor gets pulled into synchronism and start rotating at synchronous speed. Now stator and rotor rotating in same speed. As the rotor rotates at synchronous speed, the relative motion between damper winding and rotating magnetic field becomes zero. Hence, when motor is running at synchronous speed, there cannot be any induced EMF in the damper winding. Once it comes to complete synchronous speed, there is no need of induced EMF in the damper winding. So, damper winding is active only at start to run the motor as induction motor at start. Afterwards, it is out of the circuit. So, as damper winding is short circuited and motor gets started as induction motor, it draws high current at start. So, induction motor starts like star delta or auto transformer starter. Next method is as a slip ring induction motor. Here we are connecting additional resistance. So, in the previous cases, starting up synchronous motor as squirrel cage induction motor does not provide high starting torque. So, to achieve the high starting torque, instead of short circuiting by damper winding, it is designed to form a three-phase starter or delta connected winding. See here, the three ends of this winding are brought out through slip rings. The slip ring is shown in this figure. An external rheostat that can be introduced in series with the rotor circuit. In this rotor circuit, the series resistance is connected with the help of DPST switch. DPST means double side double pole switch. So when starter is excited, the motor starts as slip ring induction motor, and due to the resistance added in the rotor, it provides high starting torque. The resistance is gradually cut off as motor gather its synchronous speed. When motor attains speed near to synchronous, DC excitation is provided to the rotor. Then motor gets pulled into synchronism and starts rotating at synchronous speed. So here also damper winding is short circuited by shorting the slip rings. The initial resistance added in the rotor not only provides high starting torque but also limits high inrush current in starting current. Hence it acts as a motor resistance stator. Next method, using small DC machine. Many times a large synchronous motor are provided with a coupled DC machine. So this machine is used as DC motor to rotate the synchronous motor at synchronous speed. Then excitation to the rotor is provided. Once motor starts running at synchronous speed, the same DC machine acts as DC generator called the exciter. So the field of synchronous motor then excited by the exciter itself. So this from these four methods we can conclude that we need to rotate the rotor at the speed of synchronous speed as similar to the stator speed. Once the rotor and stator start to rotate in the same speed, the excitation methods of external devices no need to continue. We can disconnect that. That's all. The concept is this one. So using different methods. One is pony motor method, then damper winding method, slip ring induction motor method, the small DC motor machine method. All are doing the same work. Right? Next one, the torque equation of synchronous motor. See this figure. The equivalent circuit model of one armature phase of cylindrical rotor synchronous motor. Here voltage we applied a resistance, armature resistance RA and XS, combine the together by mentioning ZS. Due to that, a back EMF produced. So here field winding with the help of variable resistor, we are applying DC supply here. So from this figure, the applied voltage V is the vector sum of reversed back EMF minus EB and the impedance drop IA into ZS. IA is the current flowing through the circuit and ZA is the impedance. Due to AC circuit, we are mentioning as ZS. That is represented in this diagram. See here, the input voltage V, the back EMF EB, the current and impedance multiplied together. So this is the equivalent circuit of this synchronous motor. This is the phase diagram of the given induction motor. So now V equal to minus EB plus IA ZS. The angle between the phasor V and EB called the load angle or power angle of the synchronous motor. So except very small machine, the armature of resistance in motor is negligible. So some typing mistake is there. Armature resistance of motor is negligible as compared to the synchronous equivalent circuit of motor becomes. As in the previous case, resistance included here. Here the resistance is removed. Now in this circuit also this portion are removed. Now this is a new phasor diagram after removing the resistance. So from this phasor diagram, I can say AB equal to EB sin alpha. Alpha is here. So the back EMF is here. So AB equal to EB sin alpha. So this method you know how to calculate the angle. Opposite hypothesis, that method you know already, no need to repeat again. So the AB equal to EB sin alpha and the cos phi value we can write it as AB by IA into XS. So this from this equation I can write AB equal to IA XS into cos phi. So now both equations are same. So I can write EB sin alpha equal to IA XS. Actually here XS should appear. By mistake 3 came. EB sin alpha equal to IA XS cos alpha. So from this I can write IA cos alpha equal to EB sin alpha by XS. So we know power equation P equal to V into IA cos phi. Due to armature current we are representing IA. In general VI cos phi. Now the equation we have, instead of IA cos phi, EB sin alpha by X S, that you substitute here. Instead of IA cos alpha, you can substitute EB sin alpha by X X. For three phase, this for single phase winding, that only we taken in the beginning. If we use for 3 phases, we need to multiply by 3. So Pn equal to 3 EBV by Xs. Since stator copper loss has been neglected, the input power Pn also represented the gross mechanical power Pm. Input power we can represent as gross mechanical power Pm developed by the motor. So the Pm is 3 EBV by Sx sin alpha. So we know the torque equation T equal to Pm by omega m. Omega m formula 2 pi n by 60. Apply the 2 pi n by 60 here, that is Pm by 2 pi n by 60. If you minimize, you will get the expression 9.55 Pm by n is the torque equation of synchronous motor. Or we can get another format, right? So applying Pm value in this torque equation, we can get 3 EBV by omega m xs sin alpha. One method, by applying omega m in this formula, we will get 9.55 Pm by n. Else, if you apply Pm value in this equation, you will get 3 EBV by Wm xs sin alpha. So up to this, we completed unit 2 of basic electrical and instrumentation engineering. So completely covered unit 2 all the topics. So 3-phase induction motor, single phase induction motor, synchronous motor, every topics are covered in this videos. So up to this I can stop our discussion. In the next video we will discuss unit 3 of basic electrical and instrumentation engineering. Thank you.